Hello and welcome to episode 18 of Mathghamhain Morsels. So, last week we did a video on how to make Italian gravy, which is the spaghetti video. Just using a jarred sauce in order to build up everything else. Well, I had plenty of leftovers for that. So, I'm going to show you what I call a Italian Truncheon, or Trunch for shortened version. I've heard it pronounced both ways. So, we're going to start with a nice crusty loaf of Italian bread, which I've already started cutting into. So I cut off the top, cut a hat. I ate a little bit of the bread from here, but I also cut out a section of bread. So remember that garlic butter from the garlic bread simple is sexy episode? Well, I have some of that I made up. So what I'm going to do is just line the cavity that I've now cleared in this loaf of bread with some of this butter, so it gets nice and garlicky goodness with some herbaceousness from this butter. If you guys have done this butter, you know exactly how tasty this is. So, just line the area that you cut out with this. And then you're also going to spread some of this on that lid that I have, and that you would make if you're doing this at home, which, if you have leftover Italian gravy, ooh, this is tasty. And this is something that I used to do when I was younger, only not to this scale. It would be smaller bits done on like some garlic bread or just a heel of the bread. Take off about that much and make this out of it. Rather, originally it was my mother making this out of it for me, and then later on I made this out of it, or I'd just make it out of garlic bread that we had left over rather than actually doing anything, because I didn't learn how to cook until I was in high school. I'll probably end up doing a couple things that are Sanguine starting, or something like that will be the series name. It will be the first things that I figured out how to make. So kind of like the comfort food, where it's food that you grow up with, only it's the first food that I learned how to make. So, got butter in that cavity, sticking this back in, because I don't want to waste this bit of bread that I took out of the center. There's a bunch of different things that you could do with it. You could make croutons with it if you wanted, by tossing it in the oven, letting it dry and crisp up a bit. Or I'm just going to make a little bit of garlic bread, because I'm spreading this butter everywhere else, and that'll keep the butter from just kind of pooling at the bottom. Instead, it'll get soaked into that center bit and into the side walls, and that'll help keep it where I want the butter to be. Oops. Lid's on the wrong way. So, there's the lid on the butter, or on the bread with the butter. So now then, just like I did for the garlic bread, I got some tin foil here. And now, just going to wrap this up and throw this into a 350 degree oven just until the inside becomes nice and warm, fluffy goodness. The butter melts, coating everything in that delicious, herbaceous garlic butter. And the outside will crisp up a little bit, and I'll show you the next step once that's done. Okay, so the bread is now out of the oven. As you can see, the butter has melted, and that is really hot. The center bit is really nice and fluffy. So, now then, next step is to line this center cavity with cheese. So I'm using a really nice smoked provolone that I like. And this is a step where you add as much cheese or as little cheese as you want. I like cheese, so I'm going to add probably about 6 slices. This is going to act as a moisture barrier so that your bread doesn't get completely soaked through by that amazing, completely packed Italian gravy that we made. So press the cheese down. This one piece keeps on wanting to double over weirdly. Press the cheese down, get it all nice and situated so that the entire trough of the bread is covered in cheese. I'm going to take this and I'm going to be snacking on this as I make the rest of this. And then I'm just going to set the lid back on. Wrap this back up in tin foil, and it's going to go back into that 350 degree oven. So I'll see you guys when that step's done. Okay, and here we are. So this has come out of the oven. As you can see, that provolone cheese has melted down into the bottom of the bread. I spread it on the walls of the bread as well, so that now I can just start loading it up with that Italian gravy that we made, which I've just heated up. I did it with my sous vide machine because that's nice and easy, but you can heat it up however you want. Throw it in a pot, do it on stovetop. If you have it in plasticware that's able to be thrown in the microwave, you can throw it in the microwave and heat it up that way. So just fill the cavity that we carved out of the bread with the delicious, delicious chock-full red sauce, and just give it its hat back. And that is my Italian Truncheon. It is absolutely delicious. It is nice, big, and meaty, so this is something that if you're doing it for more than just yourself, you can do this in a large bit of bread, slice it into sections, and serve up just cheesy, delicious, chock-full sub effectively. It is absolutely delicious. And it's a fantastic way of using up some marinara sauce, or any type of sauce, bolognese, marinara, this really built up Italian gravy that we made. All of it is delicious this way. It can be a bit difficult to eat, depending on how large your mouth is, because that's a nice, meaty bite for anyone. But, with that, there's leftover Italian Truncheon. Truncheon, however you want to pronounce it. Or you can just call it an Italian sub, even though this is a bit more than just a sub. It's going to be absolutely delicious. But it's way too messy to eat on camera. So, I'll leave you guys off with my normal try new things. Try different flavors, try old classics that you remember. Try to improve some of your favorite dishes from the past with new ingredients. See how it tastes. Experiment. Have fun. Enjoy your food. Enjoy making your food. Have a good one all. Bye.